If you're just starting out to make music and you have trouble arranging a track, just try to drag someone else's track that you really like into your DAW and try kind of to copy the sections, the parts, try to mimic what's going on. If the other producer is using kick, clap, bass, and the main vocals, maybe try that out too. And this way you get a feel for arranging a track, and I think at the end a good arrangement is down to like having a good logical build-up of a track, building enough suspension and contrast so that the listener is still interested. And if you have that going on your track, you have the perfect arrangement. 'Cause I'm falling in love with you. Hey guys, I'm done with my part-time job now, back at home having breakfast. This is the good thing about that job. I come back home, I'm awake, I can do breakfast, which I usually never have. And today I've decided to stop eating any artificial added sugar. So just potatoes, eggs and some vegetables, that's it. I myself am not really sure for how long I will be able to do it, because as you know I just love snacks, so I guess maybe 2 or 3 days. You can try and help me whenever you see eating me snacks, and also leave down below in the comments your estimate for how long I will make it with the snacks. Maybe just for the next couple of hours, who knows. But now breakfast and then off to the studio. It feels so good to be back in the studio. Yesterday was just so extremely short, just taking care of some mastering and stuff. Today it's the first full day since this very long Easter weekend where I'm for the entire day in the studio. Plan for today is finishing the final warnings track with Aaron so that I can finally send it out to labels. There is not a whole lot left to do. Mostly it's changing the arrangement. There are some parts that are just too long. The track is now I think 4 minutes 30. Way too long for the kind of music that I'm making. So far the track has a classical arrangement. Let me run you through so that you know where everything is, and also how to actually arrange a very pop influenced house track. So the classical way to do it is of course starting with an intro. Usually have before the intro like an upbeat or maybe 2 or 3 guitar notes, a sample or something that kind of resembles the entire track. Then of course the intro part where you usually have the first verse that usually tells the story of the track and gets you in the mood of the track. The second part right here is a break part that doesn't have any drums, and this is here in this case the pre-chorus. It connects the first verse and the first chorus. It builds up tension and has also a lot of contrast to the chorus so that the chorus sticks out even more. That's also the reason why I don't have any drums in here. It's a very quiet and soft part that is then followed by a part at the chorus where everything is going on. That's the main part. It has the main vocals in it. This should be the catchiest part and the part that the listener remembers the fastest. Then here is a small little bridge part that isn't really necessary, so this might be here a part that I could erase and just lead straight from the chorus to the second verse. It's from the instrumental, a copy just of the first verse with different lyrics, but the mood of the vocals, the rhythm and the melody is the same as in the first verse. Then again a pre-chorus part leading up to the second chorus. Then again a bit unnecessary instrumental part in the middle. Here is the bridge part. This is actually a C part that's kind of the third verse, but in most cases it's in a parallel key and is very unique. It tries to make something that doesn't really exist in the entirety of the rest of the track. It's my favorite part because you can experiment, and then after it is again a chorus. On this track is no real outro because it's already way too long, so I just faded everything out at the end of the third chorus. And I think the parts that really should go are here, those little parts that aren't really necessary, those little breaks in between. And I also think that the pre-choruses are too long. I think 8 bars is enough to transition from the verse to the chorus. Here in this case it's 16 bars, and the lyrics are even repeating twice, so I think cutting it makes the track a little stronger. I think arranging music is extremely important. A lot of people forget about it. They all think it's just all about the sound. But I'd say first is like the songwriting, having good melodies, then the arrangement, and then actually like the mixing and the sound design and everything else. Because if you have a well-written track and you have a good arrangement, it will also work if a band is playing it, if someone else decides to exchange the instruments, do a cover version of it. The core of a track is always the melodic part, and the arrangement and the production around it is also important. But at the end it's a more technical work, and with the mixing it's just all about having a balanced mix. If you achieve that, you pretty much have a good track, but really get first the musical parts and the arrangement right. And if there is one key to arranging a track and arranging it in an interesting way, it's contrast. You really need to have separate sections that are different. You have to get the transitions right between of them, but it's really all in that contrast. If you have like an empty break part that is very emotional followed by a very energetic chorus part, I think that's what makes things in a song interesting. If it all sounds like a constant loop for 3 minutes or 6 minutes, it's just boring. You need to change up the song. Not so much that it sounds like you glued together 2 different tracks, but enough so that the listener just hears something new and is again engaged and excited about listening to the track. And a lot of people always ask me how to make the drop hit harder. And of course you need the right elements right after the drop. Usually you definitely will need a kick and bass to make it work. And it's of course also important what comes before the drop. Did you build up really nice to the drop? Did you fade out the low frequencies so that the ear gets used to the higher frequencies? And then when the kick and bass is hitting again, it sounds way more bass heavy than it actually is. This way you can kind of trick the listener to feel the drop even harder. So this might be a way to build up a nice drop. By the way, there is a nice little trick in Logic. Usually this yellow part at the top is marking places that get looped whenever you hit play, but you can also command click the yellow part here at the top. It turns into a black part, and now whenever you get close to this part, it will just skip it. I love to use it just to see which parts I actually can get rid of. Let's try this one out. I think it definitely works to skip these small instrumental parts, so let's delete them. This definitely works. I will also do it with the second instrumental part that isn't really necessary, and also shorten down the pre-chorus parts to 8 bars. Okay, the track is now, let me check, it's now 3 minutes and 20 long, which is just a perfect length for a normal radio, Spotify, deep house, pop kind of track. I might do a club version out of it that has an intro of 1 minute and an outro of 1 minute the day it gets released, so that I can DJ it in my sets, and maybe also send it to some of my DJ colleagues so that they can play it. And now it's actually time to go to my edit of Rhythm as a Dancer. I can't really show you what I'm doing on this track because it might get blocked by YouTube, but the second I've solved the copyright situation, I will show you the entire track and hopefully be able to release it within the next couple of months. All done with the Rhythm as a Dancer edit. I will show you more of the track and the arrangement in a bit. First of all, really great news. I got in contact with iZotope, and as you know, the winners of the remix contest should get a prize, and I asked the first winner to split it up. I sent the video to iZotope and They were so nice and now gave us even more prizes, so that even with 3 winners they will still receive something amazing. The first prize gets the music production bundle, which includes Neutron, Ozone, Nectar 2, Vocal Synth, Inside and Trash 2. And the second and third place they will get Neutron, Ozone and Nectar, which is just really amazing. That's so cool of them to just give out more prizes, although we actually agreed on something different, and this way I think every one of the winners will be extremely happy receiving even more. And I think for the winner Matt, this is really something amazing and fair, because he was so nice to split up his prize, and now at the end he's getting back even more. So I think that's a good example for karma. But now let me try and show you the arrangement of this dancer rhythm. It's a dancer edit. It's more in a club style. It's still short, like 3 minutes 30. But I will add intro and outros for DJs later. But this track is arranged in a different way. It's not a pop track. You don't have so much vocals in the track. It's more like intro, break, and then the main part, the drop down, and then a small break again, and the rest. You need a lot more parts that are longer, where people can dance to. A pop track is changing way too fast, way too much for a club purpose. But let me show you the arrangement. Here in this case we have a quick intro part with drums and the main sound and the bass that are slowly introduced. Then the very big break part with the vocals and the main guitar and the piano that is slowly building up. You have here a rising effect sound, a little stop of 2 breaks, and then it just drops in the main part of the track. You have all of the drums going on, the bass, the piano, the lead guitar, and also some chopped up vocal bits out of the original track. A small little break in here, and then at this part you have like the drop down where it's very reduced. You have kick, bass, and the main vocal part, the main guitar part. So a very dark kind of part that really contrasts the part here in front with all of the percussions, all of the drums, which is my favorite part in club tracks. If you just have like kick, bass, vocals or a synth, it just really sounds nice. Then another little break that builds up to the last drop part where people can dance, and then you have a really quick outro on this version. Usually if it's like a club version you would have at least a minute of kick and clap and maybe a little bit of percussion for DJs to make it easy to get out of this track. So that's basically the arrangement on this more club influenced track. I can't really play it to you because it's an edit, but maybe just a tiny little section. It's a soul companion. It's a soul companion. I'm all done with work for today. There are actually 3 things that make me really happy right now. First of all, that iZotope handed out more prizes and I'm able to give the winners even more, which will make them happy, and just giving other people something makes me happy. So a win-win situation for everyone. The second thing that makes me happy is that it's 8 and still super bright outside. And believe it or not, I'm still sugar-free. Although I just got everything for dinner, I stayed strong, no sugar, really happy about it. But who knows for how long. Okay, Vanessa's with me, no more sugar. Promise?
From now on.
Okay, you guys are...
I try to,
yes.
at least. There's a birthday party on Friday.
Okay, so at least 1 week. We will make it 1 week.